Now, the next issue that we're talking about, I'm going to introduce it, and we'll just get a couple of points before we go for a break. It's a very tough one. Take a look at the headline up on your screen there. Hospital sued for keeping infant alive. This is a tough ethical issue we're looking at here. This is a couple in Montreal. They had a severely handicapped infant. And based on this article, it was treated at a different hospital. It's now moved over to another hospital. And from what their lawyer is saying, the child is doomed to a life of, well, again, being handicapped. Now, the child was, the parents made the decision to take the child off life support, thinking, what's the point? Well, the child survived, and now it's in another hospital. The child went through another bout of difficulty, to be expected, so the hospital made a decision to save that child's life, hook it on life support, whatever might have been. Maybe they were thinking, well, maybe it'll survive if you take it off life support, but here you have it. The parents are angry that that hospital decided to put their child back on life support, and now they're threatening to sue. In fact, they're going ahead with a lawsuit, $3.5 million against that hospital. So the question we're asking, do you agree with the parent strategy? Does it seem like they're looking for cash to support this child? Not an easy issue. We're going to go for a break. We'll be back after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to Viewpoints on the Line. We're going to be talking about our second topic very shortly, but a couple of you are still waiting to talk about topic one. So we'll go to you quickly. Let's go now to Nabil on line 4. Hello, you're on the line.
Yes, Christine.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, your comment.
Yes, please. I have two questions. First question. Why everybody was, 4 months ago, we were in a good situation. And now most of the people, they are just calling and saying we are in a difficult situation and announce bankruptcy, and they said there is a lot of layout. The second portion of my question about the GM and Chrysler. If the federal government bails them out and they didn't succeed to be competitive, are they going to liquidate their assets to get back the money which paid by the taxpayers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good considerations. Thanks for calling in, Nabil. Let's go now to Myron on line 1. Hello, Myron. You're on the line.
Yes, I was just wondering, the United States gets about 40 to 45% of its oil from Canada. They are paying about $1.60 a gallon right now, and we're paying 84 cents a liter, which kind of is scary for the price of oil at $45 a barrel. But with 200,000 people roughly out of work looking for a job, how are they going to be able to spend their get money to buy the gas at 84 cents a liter looking for a job when they don't have any money coming in?
Myron, good question. A really sad point, isn't it? It's a sad point with a situation that we're in.
That's why you don't want to get into these economic situations. But Nabil was saying that 4 months ago everything was okay. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't okay.
We were just, you're falling off a cliff, you're 3 feet from the bottom, and everything's okay while you're here.
People were just not accepting the fact that things were not okay. They were just sort of glossing over the reality of the situation.
The bottom line is we didn't want to see a panic. The government didn't want to see a panic. When you start telling people the economy is bad, people start restricting their spending, which unfortunately makes the problem worse.
Since Obama was screaming like it's a disaster when he first got elected, So I think he did want to almost create a panic to justify
of course, because he wanted to get elected. He wanted to
get,
it was a big political game. It was election time.
Spending more money and getting ourselves into more debt is not the answer.
I know you guys are trying to avoid this ethical topic we're dealing with. Okay, you're trying really hard, but we're going to get you into it anyway. This is a sad one. This is a really sad one, but go ahead.
It's very tough because sitting here, we don't know the absolute, essential truth about each step of what occurred occurred.
Yes.
But taken as a whole, the story does represent a couple of very sort of unfortunate circumstances. And I would preface everything by saying that, you know, we have no idea what the parents are going through right now in terms of their child and the decisions that they have to make in relation to the welfare of the child. But clearly there has been a breakdown in communication.
There is definitely a breakdown.
And I think that the reasons for that breakdown in communication, those reasons need to be examined. And
Yes.
if litigation is the answer, I'm not convinced that it is, but if
Yes.
it is the answer, then that litigation is justified in terms of getting to the crux of the matter and finding out why that breakdown occurred. And ultimately, you've got to look at it from the child's perspective. What is in the welfare of the child? What is going to be the best decision-making process that's going to result in the best decisions?
Well, from this article, that side of the legal suit is saying the child's better off dead and would want to be if she had a choice, but you cannot speak on behalf of that child.
Who can speak on behalf of a child?
Another
that
issue
can't
that I
say
have a real problem with here, although I sympathize with the parents and I realize it's costly, in their suit, they're questioning why the doctors in the second hospital did not consult the doctors in the first hospital. But when you're faced with an emergency situation of life or death, you're not going to run away to pick up the phone to try to locate the doctors that may have worked on that child to find out what to do. Doctors are in the business of saving lives. Let's go now to Marie on line 5. Hi, Marie. You're on the line.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Marie.
I just want to make a comment. I believe that no one should actually take another person's life. It doesn't matter whether it's your family or not. When you have a child, you're supposed to love the child no matter what, whether the child is ill or not.
Marie, thanks for calling in. Robert,
I think
your opinion on this?
These parents do love the child, according to all I know about this case is what's in this article.
Of course, and
Now,
some's
according
lacking.
to this article, the parents have since bonded with the child, are no longer seeking to have the child's life terminated, but at the time of the decision, the child was deemed to have very little consciousness of life, would be deaf and dumb, would never be able to see, never be able to walk, almost senseless in every sense. And based on that prognosis, the parents agreed, they made an agreement with the hospital
With that first
for
hospital.
withdrawal of life support.
Yes.
And that was the last they heard.
And then the child lived, though, when the hospital...
Unbeknownst to them.
Right, unbeknownst to them.
They took
That's
the
right.
child off of life support. The child kept breathing. They tried to fix the child, which is still not fixable. Can't breathe, has to be, you know...
Well, the child will be handicapped for life, and we're going into...
This is not just handicapped. This is incredibly...
But still, severely handicapped.
Yeah, severely.
And it becomes an ethical issue of the value of a life. Some will say, well, it's no point living a life where you're so severely handicapped. There are others that will say, well, you know what? We don't have all the answers. It's still worth living a life. We don't know how long this child's life will be. So it becomes a severe ethical question.
Certainly, a child has no ability to consent to anything.
No, but
however,
they've inferred consent on behalf of the child. She would want to die if given the choice. I had an issue with that one.
Well, we can never know that, but I don't think the issue here is about the child, but about whether this lawsuit is legitimate or not.
Yes.
And because the parents were not informed, they weren't told about anything, and then suddenly, here's your kid, you got to take care of him. It's going to be millions of dollars to look after that child.
Of course.
And if the parents were obligated to do that, they would literally have to give up their lives. I mean, to do it. So it seems perfectly normal to me for them to be suing the ethics committee that reversed a decision on them that they'd already made.
There are a lot of people that could even be watching, and we've covered shows like severe autism, severe disabilities. So what do we say then? That their life maybe isn't worth it, and if they were dying, just kind of leave them to die? Don't try to revive them because it's very costly to the parents? I mean, it's a horrible circumstance, Robert. But at the same time, this was not the same hospital in the first place. Yes, this was the second one. And the question is, do you expect those doctors in the middle of whoever that shift was doing that shift or taking care of that infant to think of running to the telephone, trying to locate the previous hospital? I don't know what time this happened. Could have been 2 o'clock in the morning, to say, look, what's your protocol here? Should we revive this child? It was a horrible situation for the hospital as well.
So
do you really think this lawsuit...
Perhaps the answer is that they're suing the wrong hospital.
Well, maybe it is.
So maybe that's the only issue.
I think they are actually, according to the article, they are actually suing the first hospital that actually had...
Oh, they are?
Yeah, as a result of which the child was disabled in the first place.
Because from what I gathered here, they were saying that the second hospital took it upon themselves to make that decision. So that's where the lawsuit was actually of the second one.
Yes, there's a point here
Yes.
about the first hospital having,
separate
quote,
lawsuit.
mismanaged
Yeah.
the delivery,
Right.
which
Yeah.
led to the child's medical condition.
Exactly.
So there's a
maybe
malpractice
it's
suit
both.
with the first
So it's
hospital, yeah.
both. You're
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
at both there.
But I think at the end of
Wow.
the day, you need to look at the entire situation, and it's very difficult for people to be intimately involved in the process, to be objective about it. But I think at the end of the day, litigation perhaps is not the right answer. Maybe
yeah.
identifying the right hospital
Yes.
is, and maybe going after that one. But
Yes.
making lawyers richer than they already are, I don't know whether that's the right way of
And we're out
approaching
of
things.
time. That's all the time we have. See you again next time. I'm Christine Williams, and from all of us, thank you for watching.